So, confession time. Consistency is my least natural strength. Gallup Strengths Finder literally ranks at number 34 out of all 34 possible strengths you could have. Yet, I run a business that consistently attracts my favorite clients, builds visibility, and gets me results. How do I do that? Well, over the years, I finally figured out how to build marketing systems that I call consistency containers. If you've ever felt like marketing yourself feels like you're constantly having to push a new boulder up a hill every single day, this episode is for you. Welcome to the Establish Yourself podcast, the show that helps coaches and consultants get clear on how to talk about what you do, simplify your offers, and have more fun in your business and beyond. I'm Annie Franceschi, brand strategist, author, former Disney storyteller, and forever Muppet fan. I'm here to help you clarify your message, package your expertise, and streamline your systems to grow a business you actually enjoy. If you're ready for less confusion and more magic, it's time to establish yourself. This is the third episode in our Greatness Not Perfection series, all about the value of striving to make your business great in your eyes and not worrying about perfection. Episode 1 was about taking action with a shark mindset. Keep your business alive. Don't stress about it being perfect. Episode 2 was about how I've started using AI to stop ruminating and pitch myself more boldly. Now, episode 3 is all about the struggle I've personally had with being consistent and how I've overcome it, because it is so important to growing a business. Let me take you back to the early days of my practice. I used to write a weekly newsletter called Skip to Action. I wrote it faithfully every Wednesday for years. And you know what I got from it? Crickets. Not a single client. Even though I am somewhat known for writing, the truth was I kind of dread it. Back when I was writing the newsletter, every week felt like a slog. It would take me at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half, and often it would feel like I was screaming into the void. That was my wake-up call. It wasn't that I didn't want to be consistent. It was that I needed a different way to do consistency that better fit me, a smarter way, one that didn't rely on mustering brute force or going through burnout. And that's when I created my first consistency container. Here's what I see with so many coaches, consultants, and service providers. We're all told to show up consistently. So we try to follow the latest social media trends or post every day, but then you burn out, you disappear, you second guess everything. The reality is that the problem isn't you, it's the system or the lack of having one. What I think no one tells us about consistency is that it's not just about grit. It's about creating systems that support you, ones that play to your strengths and actually work in your real day-to-day life. Because when you're trying to do what everyone else is doing, it feels exhausting. And worse, it doesn't even work. Consistency containers are how I've been able to market my business without marketing becoming my whole business. These are simple, structured, repeatable systems that are anchored by marketing content that I actually like to create. They fit my business, they serve my audience, and most importantly, they fit me. Today, I'm going to break down exactly what a consistency container is, how to choose the right one for you, and how you can use these to show up consistently in your marketing, but feel really good about that and have it invite in your favorite clients along the way. Now, you may never have heard of a consistency container, but I'm willing to bet that you have seen them in the wild. You probably even have a few sitting in your inbox right now. These are those regular signature pieces of content that show up like clockwork and build trust over time. Let me give you some examples from some of my clients that will help make this real. Jamie Yazdani is a project management consultant. She consistently goes live on LinkedIn to talk about real project management challenges. Her LinkedIn lives have become her rhythm, her presence builder, her container. I always see her hosting them, and I know that her ideal clients take notice. AI consultant and coach Valerie Ehrlich writes a smart focused Substack newsletter called Seeds. It's short, timely reflections on AI, learning, and leadership for nonprofit leaders. Her folks know what to expect and see her as a go-to voice in the space. And Wendy Gates Corbett, she's a belonging expert that I've worked with for many years. And with my help, we put together a simple monthly newsletter called The Spark. It is short. It's just 3 quick sections where she's sharing a tip that you can use to bring more belonging into your life or your workplace, a nugget of what she is up to or how you can work with her, and another piece of inspiration. It is so simple, yet so actionable. And she has been able to keep it up for months on end because it plays to her strengths and her life. It's been a powerful strategy that she's been able to keep up with to maintain her visibility with all the organizations she works with to bring belonging into their world. Even me, even the show you're literally listening to right now, that is my current consistency container. Now, you'll hear that all of these look different, but they work because they are consistent, strategic, and true to the person behind them and the types of clients they want to work with. That is the goal. We've shared examples, a LinkedIn Live, a Substack, a simple monthly newsletter, and a podcast. So, really, what is a consistency container? It's a content marketing system. It features one specific on brand content type that you repeat. There is some format that really works the best for you. It helps you share value consistently and attract your favorite ideal clients. This could be a monthly workshop, a podcast, a YouTube series, a short email series. As one example, my very first consistency container was a repeatable workshop series called Branding with Annie. I ran it for nearly 4 years, and it started as an in-person event here in North Carolina. It didn't just check the box on content, it gave me a repeatable system that brought in dozens of clients, tens of thousands of dollars in revenue, and speaking engagements. But beyond all of that, it felt really good to do. Here's what makes a consistency container different from just posting more. A consistency container is not just thought leadership. It's not shouting your ideas into the void or posting constantly because somebody said that you should. It's about creating a rhythm of value, one that's strategic, sustainable, and aligned with who you are. This is also not about going viral. It's about building consistent visibility with your favorite clients in a way that feels good and is going to work for you long term. It's going to have compounding results. Here is the real magic. Having a consistency container is going to simplify your entire content marketing strategy. Instead of staring at a blank screen every day, wondering, what should I post today? You have a focus, a hub that everything else is going to orient around. I'm going to have a Substack. I'm going to have a newsletter. I'm going to have a YouTube show. You're going to have that central hub. Another way to think about this, consider the castle that's the heart of the Magic Kingdom or Spaceship Earth at Epcot. In theme park lingo, that's what Walt Disney called a weenie. Yes, a weenie. A weenie refers to the visual focal point or landmark that draws guests into and through the park. It acts like a visual magnet. It gives you direction. It anchors you. That's exactly what a consistency container can be for marketing your business. It becomes that core series, the signature content, the thing that you're known for that drives everything else. From there, you can share clips, quotes, recaps, you can repurpose your insights, and suddenly content feels easier. You're not starting from scratch. You're amplifying what you've already built. Even for me looking back, I did branding with Annie for so many years. And when I went to write my book, Establish Yourself, so much of what I'd figured out in those month by month presentations became core content of that book. I'm still repurposing some of that even today, even as we speak on this show and beyond. So if you're interested in creating one, here's something you want to consider. You want to choose a consistency container that plays to your strengths. You want to ask yourself, what do I actually enjoy doing or creating? And where do my clients actually hang out? Your container should play to your interests and your strengths, because if it doesn't, you're not going to stick with it. And it should be relevant to your clients and how they behave. If your clients aren't on TikTok, don't create TikTok reels, even though everyone's saying that's the place to be. You want to think about where they are. This is one of the biggest reasons that my main platform right now is LinkedIn. My ideal clients are hanging out there. Many of them hate social media. I looked at the data of where my ideal clients came the most from, and they were coming from when they heard me speak, not from blog posts. So that was one of the big reasons that I stopped writing that Skip to Action newsletter. I stopped blogging and I started this container around speaking, my zone of genius. So if you pick something that plays to your strengths and where your ideal clients hang out, the next thing you want to consider is making sure that it's repeatable, valuable, and evergreen. Your container should be structured and repeatable so you can show up consistently without reinventing the wheel, without having to think, is this a monthly thing? Is it a weekly thing? Making a decision, knowing what you're doing so that you aren't constantly making all those little decisions that I know for me really burn out my mental capacity. You want to make sure that it's valuable. So, whatever you do, teach something, offer something, and deliver real value. Content that's going to build that know, like, and trust factor with your ideal audience. And lastly, make it evergreen. I love repurposing things so you can use and share it again and again. Not every business can do this. Some of us that tap into current events and things like that, this makes it trickier. But most of us can create content with a view to reusing it. So that's what you want to keep in mind is make it as repeatable, valuable, and evergreen as you can. You also want to make it automated and delegatable wherever you can. For example, when I would do branding with Annie, I would have steps of that process where I would need to like put it on Eventbrite and I would have to send an email to say registration was open. These were things that I could create templates for. I could create tutorials to follow, and then I could share those with my virtual assistant who would take care of a lot of that work for me. I remember when I would get out of in-person workshops, I would take a picture of the sign-up sheet and email it to Sarah, my assistant. Before I'd gotten home, she had registered everybody for me. So that's what I want you to be thinking about: templates, systems, virtual assistant support. My interview series, Branding with Friends, which was my consistency container before the show, that ran almost entirely on autopilot. Simply because when I first created it, I spent about 2 days building a system that supported it. I thought through what would happen from start to finish when I would reach out to someone, record an episode, and then we would need to publish it on YouTube and share the email. So I got it to a place where the whole thing was documented, and then Sarah and her team could just take the recording and run with it. And I would just look at a few things here and there to approve them. That's how I was able to easily produce 40 episodes of that show. You can check it out at brandingwithfriends.com. It wasn't because I was doing all the little bits. And honestly, if I had been doing all the little bits, I probably wouldn't have produced 40 episodes, right? So I figured out what the bits were once, and then I asked for help. So in just a moment, I'm going to pull all this together, recap the episode, and give you a challenge for the week. But before I do that, if you're thinking that you want to figure out what your consistency container is and you want some help to do that, I hope you'll join me this summer for Business Boost Read Along with the Author. This is my 6-week read along of the book Establish Yourself. If you've been curious about it or craving a clear way to grow your business for the fall and beyond, come join us. We're going to talk about consistency containers. The book gets into more detail than I shared today, and you can come ask me questions about it and ways to brand, streamline, and grow your greatest business, not the business that everyone says you have to have. This is going to be Wednesdays, July 9th to August 13th, and it's just $19 to join us. Learn more at greateststorycreative.com/boost. So let's pull this all together. Here's what makes a great consistency container: it plays to your interests and strengths, it's where your ideal clients hang out, it's repeatable and structured, it's valuable to your ideal clients, it's evergreen, repurposable, and wherever you can, it's automated and delegated. Here is your challenge this week to make it happen. I want you to brainstorm what your consistency container could be. What is the type of content you would love to create? Make yourself a list and consider what would your clients also love to see you do. Maybe there's some intersections here. And again, come share this with me. I would love to encourage you. You can find me on LinkedIn or come hang out at the read along this summer. I just want you to start because that is how we get past this. That is how we stop pushing the boulder up the hill is we build in systems that play to our strengths, and systems don't need to be technically complicated. They can just be about making decisions in advance. Now we'll be back next week with our fourth and final episode in the Greatness Not Perfection series, and I'll be breaking down some of the biggest business mistakes I've ever made and still survived. Today, I want to leave you with this. Consistency doesn't have to be your superpower. It just needs to be your system because your ideas matter, your voice matters, and someone out there, they need to hear from you. But they won't hear you unless you're out there again and again. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present. Hey, do you like surprises? The credits are about to roll, but just like a Marvel movie, stick around to the end for something I put in just for you. Thanks for listening to the Establish Yourself podcast. I'm Annie Franceschi, and if you're enjoying the show, it would mean so much to me if you follow it, leave a quick rating, or share it with a friend. And for free branding resources and more ways to work together, head to greateststorycreative.com/podcast. Now here it is, your moment of magic. You know, I learned the bit about Cinderella's castle and Spaceship Earth at Epcot being weenies from the book Be Our Guest, Perfecting the Art of Customer Service. It's written by Disney and Theodore Kinney. And you know, I've never walked through the parks or done client work the same since I read that book. If you are a nerd like me about creating magic in the work that you do, dive into that read soon.